All right, welcome everybody. Just getting some things here set up. Okay, so this is going to be a really quick scope. Probably only I don't know 5-10 minutes, something like that. Just really short. Just because it's been a long day and it's already 5 o'clock here. I know it's kind of late on the East Coast too, so I'll make this quick. But I was having an interesting conversation with someone this morning around email marketing. And they were arguing to me that email marketing is dead and that no one, people get so many emails these days that they don't even care about what comes into their inbox anymore. And I was arguing with him that he was wrong. Of course, at the time, I didn't have I couldn't pull up any of the stats and facts. I know that they support my opinion, but I didn't have any of them off the top of my head. And so what I did is, just for a few minutes here, I went and pulled just a handful of very interesting stats around email marketing, and wanted to kind of share those stats with you guys in this video. And so I have a handful I'm going to walk through here, but I think you're going to be pretty surprised about what's happening with email marketing and how it's still extremely, extremely effective if you do it the right way. So first and foremost is according to the Digital Marketing Association, the average return on investment for $1 spent in email marketing is $43. And that's insane. Right? So think about that. Across all industries, in the United States at least, $43 is the average ROI for $1 spent on email marketing. That's nuts. Even if that number was, 75% higher than it should be, if they were off by 75%, it's only a quarter of what it should be. That's still an amazing number. And that was from 2015. That's the data from so just last year. If you look at the trend, it is going down slightly. I believe it hit a high in like 2013, I believe it was, at about $46. But in the last few years, even with all the emails going out, it's only dropped from 46 down to 43. That's still a massive, massive, massive difference. And so I can't stress enough that, everyone who says, marketing, email marketing is dead, it's just not true. It's just definitely not the case. And it's not on there. By the way, before I forget anymore, if you're watching this on the replay, thank you for being on. If you go ahead, you can tap the screen and give me some love. I very much appreciate it. It does help boost my rankings up there and get more people to see this, which is the goal at the end of the day. So again, so it's just a massive ROI for email marketing if you do it the right way, and so that's huge. Another stat I found was business to consumer, which is what most of us are probably in, is business to consumer, especially if you're watching me or you found me somehow. They see conversion rates as high as 50%, 50% from email marketing. So in other words, they send out a sales email and it might go as high as 50%. Again, even if it's only half that at 25%, or even a fifth of that at 10%, most of us would be pretty happy with the idea of sending out an email and seeing a 10% conversion to a sales perspective for an email, right? I mean, think about how long does it take you to write a really good email? Even if you said a couple hours, would it be worth converting those folks, even at 10%? But what this stat is saying is that it can go as high as 50% for email marketing. So that's a massive, again, so not only, that just goes to support the average ROI number, because if we're seeing that kind of that high of a conversion rate, obviously the money is there as well, which is really, really cool as well. Next here that I found that I thought was really interesting was automated emails have a 70.5% higher open rate than business as usual emails. So in other words, when someone comes into your email list, if they're getting an automated series, an automated campaign of emails that automatically happens over a period of time, those automated emails will have 70.5% higher open rates, which means someone actually opened the email to read the content. And obviously, you're not going to make a sale, you're not going to make a conversion, you're not going to have any action taken if they don't even open the email. If they just delete it, or it goes to spam or anything of that nature, that's no good. So just by having them in a sequence of emails that occurs on a regular basis versus just, oh, hey, here's what we're up to, the open rates are significantly higher. And I think that's also very interesting as well. So the takeaway from that is you should, if you're not already, when someone opts into your email list, you need to put them into an automated campaign that will message them on a periodic basis, whatever frequency you determine based on your testing and your environment, your business, but put them into that sequence and keep it moving forward. Always keep it moving forward. If it's not moving forward, if it's not automated, you're going to see lower open rates. Now the next one, there's a bunch of actually stats in this one, but it's really interesting. So I'm going to make sure I get this right here. Over 75% of email revenue is generated by targeted campaigns versus one size fits all. In other words, if you're in the sports niche, let's say, for example, when someone joins in, if they're a football player, they get football emails. If they're a soccer player, they get soccer emails. If they are a baseball player, they get baseball emails, these targeted campaigns. Over 75% of emails generated from targeted campaigns versus just generic, hey, thank you for joining my company email. And I think that's a huge thing. Now, here's where it gets even more startling. A targeted email campaign on average generates 760% increase in revenue versus one size fits all versus any other email campaign. A targeted campaign, 760% higher, 760. Think about that for a minute. 760% better revenue because you targeted your emails. And this should make sense, right? Again, none of these stats, while they're startling in terms of their numbers sometimes, they don't go against or buck any trends, right? They totally make sense. If I'm going to do a targeted email campaign towards a very specific person, again, the sports niche, if I'm sending football emails to a football person, I should see a much better conversion rate. I should see an increase in revenue because it's more relevant to those people. And the more relevant what we have is to what they want, the closer these two are, the better our results always will be. So again, I mean, that's all marketing, right? Whether it's email marketing or any other marketing. If this is what they want and this is what we have and we're really far apart, it's not going to make any sense. No one's going to want to do that. But if we get it really close together, we're going to see an increase in sales, an increase in everything we do. And that makes sense. But again, 760%, that's a crazy, crazy number to me. I was not expecting that number, which is why I pulled it in. There's so many stats out there that we can quote, but these are the ones that I thought were probably the most interesting out of the ones I saw. Next is about how emails are getting viewed. So 53% of all emails are opened on a mobile device. So over half of the emails are on mobile devices. The other half are on non-mobile devices. But if you look at just Gmail users, of which there's roughly 900 million according to the last calculation, who knows, I'm sure that's gone up since there. But 900 million people have Gmail users who, again, many of our people that we talk to open their email or have email on Gmail. Over 75% of Gmail users open their mail on their phone. 75% of Gmail users. So if you see in your niche a lot of folks using Gmail, you need to make sure that your emails are good on mobile phone. If you're including images, if you're putting anything in your email that's a very static form of content like an image or paragraph size for text or things like that, you need to make sure that it fits. Your subject lines, all right, on a mobile phone need to be much shorter, much shorter subject lines, because if they're really long subject lines, no one's going to want to watch them or read them, all right? So that's important as well. Next is personalized emails increase click-through rates by 14% and conversions by 10%. So having a personalization in your email increases it click-through rates by 14% and conversions by 10%. Now, in my emails that I send for almost all of my businesses, maybe on a few occasions I don't do this, but almost always, when I send an email out, I have their name in two places, and I merge their name in. All these programs, all these emails that will automated email programs will let you merge the names. So they type in their name in the form, and then boom, it just merges it in, just like a merge field in like a Word document or anything of that nature. It's going to merge those right in. Now, the interesting thing about this is that, for me at least, I put an email address always in two places. First is going to be in the actual subject line. I try to include their name. I merge their name into the subject line. People are much more likely, in my experience, at least in my list, to open the email if their name appears in the subject versus versus not in the subject. And then the other place I always put it is in the email too. Like, I usually say, hey, Bob, what's up? Or something of that nature, just to capture their attention. Because most email programs will show the subject line and then also a small preview of it. So I want to capture their attention by using their name. If I use their name, they're much more likely to be like, oh, what's this about? Let me go check it out. Let me go see what's going on here. Now, here's the other thing that the stats supports what I just said with my list. to other lists is that emails with personalization in the subject line are 26% more likely to be opened. 26% more likely to be opened if you personalize an email. So think about that. If you send out 100 emails, all right, you will literally get 26 more opens just because you included a name than what you would have gotten on an average besides that. Think about that. 26 more opens. That's a lot of extra people looking at it. And now factor in the 14% conversion and the 10%, the 14% click-through rate and the 10% conversion into that. So if 26% more opened your email, and then of that 26%, an additional 14% of those went to your site, and of that 10% more bought something. So just 2 more sales, basically. So let's take that 10% and this filter down and say 2 more sales. Let's round down and say just 2 more sales. What would 2 more sales mean for your business? Even at the lowest price point of what you offer, what would that mean? Just because you sent an email that had a personalization in it. Small things like this make a big difference. So personalize your emails. All right, and the last stat here that I want to talk about is something that to me is always interesting, and it's always one of those things that I argue with people about, but I've got the facts now to back it up. Email is 40 times more effective for acquiring a customer than Facebook or Twitter. Now, I believe this stat does not quote for paid advertising. It's a different beast, really, when it comes down to it. But if you're just looking at organic advertising on Facebook or Twitter, you are 40 times more likely to acquire a customer because of an email campaign than a Facebook or Twitter campaign. So don't get me wrong, I love social media. I love Facebook and Twitter, and I love all these things for generating an audience and building credibility and getting more folks into what we're doing. But at the end of the day, nothing trumps email marketing. 40 times more effective at acquiring customers than Facebook or Twitter. That's mind-blowing, right? And so, again, all I can say is you've got to, if you're not already, you need to have email marketing in your business. These are just a handful of stats that I find. If you go onto Google and just type in email marketing stats, you'll find even more stuff. It's crazy what's out there or what people are talking about. It's actually rather interesting. Just because I do a lot of email marketing for myself and for others, just to be able to have these stats and these facts and back these things up. So again, my name is Bob McIntosh. Thank you for being on this scope. If you're watching the replay, thank you for tapping and giving me some hearts. If you're on the YouTube afterwards, leave a comment. If you're watching this on Facebook or my blog or anywhere else, feel free to leave a comment. What's your thoughts on internet marketing? I want to know, email marketing. Are you doing email marketing? Are you not doing email marketing? Would you consider your campaigns effective if you are? If you're not doing it, why not? What's been preventing you from going forward? I'd love to know more about you and what you're doing from that standpoint. Can't wait to see more of what you guys do out there. Otherwise, that's it for now. That's it for this scope. Thank you guys for being on. Look forward to seeing you on another scope. Hopefully, take it easy.